Hey everybody, it is Saturday afternoon and we are heading out to Pretty Boy Reservoir, but unfortunately it's kind of a rainy, dreary day. They're calling for thunderstorms this afternoon and I don't want to be caught out on the water if lightning and whatnot crops up. So we are going to go out on foot. I know a few spots where I can find some good woodwork that tends to wash up into the nooks and crannies and get stuck in the corners. And if we root through that enough, I might be able to find something interesting. So where we're going to go first is right here. We're going to walk down to the water and see what we can find. This, incidentally, is where I got the woodwork for my 40-gallon tank that was once called my African tank. And it was the very first woodwork I ever collected on my own. It was right down in this cove that we're heading to. So give me a minute, let me get the camera strapped onto my head, and we will take a walk down to the water and see if we can't find any interesting pieces of wood. Alright, let's see what we can find. Now you can always find a lot of sticks and branches and little things, but I'm looking for like a root mass. Something like that is certainly interesting, but that's not really what I'm looking for. That's really interesting. I like that a lot. But that's not what I'm here for. I'm looking for something that's going to be more of a sort of a tree stump root structure, but it's got to be small. That's another good looking piece of wood. This is light as a cork though. That would take a very long time to get waterlogged enough to float, but it would look really good lying on the surface of something, using that as a piece of structural decor in a terrarium or a paludarium or something. That would look fantastic. That's a little on the large side for a 20-gallon tank. That's not really what I'm looking for. A lot of times you can find good stuff out in the actual water. Oh, jeez Louise. I just stepped in a hole that went up to my knee. Yeah, all that just for that, and that wasn't even now that good of a piece. All right, now I gotta go take my boot off because I'm wearing waterproof boots, and I just filled one of them up with water. All right, I'm gonna put you on pause here and we'll get started again in just a minute. That's actually something really similar to what I'm looking for, except that's really small. All right, let me go drain my boot here. All right, well, where I stopped to drain my boot, it's a pretty good looking piece of wood right there on the ground. So I don't think I'm gonna use that one either, but it's not bad. So I'm not going to go walking back in that mess, but let's walk up here and have a look around. This is where I actually got the piece of wood that is in my 40-gallon tank. And the main chunk of it used to still be sitting out here in the water somewhere. It might be that piece right there. Let's go down there and see if that's it. Yeah, I think this might be the original piece. Maybe not. The original piece that I got the wood from that in that 40-gallon tank was a much bigger piece than that, and what I wound up doing was taking my saw and just cutting a chunk of it off, and then I left the big piece back here in the water, and I'm not seeing it now. how do you like that piece? God, it looks even better from this side. But once again, a little big for what I'm looking for. That's pretty interesting. All right, I don't see anything here today. I'm gonna put this one back in the water. So if I ever do come back here looking for that, I'll be able to find it again. And remember, if you're doing this and you're looking for wood, use your little bit of creativity when you're looking at it. You don't always necessarily need to use the entire piece of wood that you found. Like I was saying with that other piece, it's not a problem at all to just cut a piece off with a saw and just keep the part you like. And so a piece that might otherwise be way too big might, you know, fit in your tank. So something like that, for example, you know, I could saw it here or saw it here and still have, you know, the interesting parts that I want, and then just get rid of all that part down there. So I don't know, like I said, I don't really see anything here that's yeah. So I'm not really sure where we'll go from here, but there's other places we can look. And then of course there's always another day. I can always go out on the boat tomorrow or whenever I get a chance on the next nice day. All right, so let's get back up to the truck and we'll go somewhere else. All right, as I was walking out, coming back from the other angle, I saw this piece of wood and it was sitting down just in the water on this end. And then that was all up above the water. It's got this really cool fungus growing on it, and then of course it's just got some common weeds and stuff growing on there. But that is a really good looking piece of wood too. I like that a lot. Love it the way it's already sort of pre-planted. But alas, again, not what I'm looking for, not what I came here for. But I just love looking at this kind of stuff and do this all the time when I come out hiking around in the woods or fishing or whatever. I'm always looking for interesting bits of woodwork and whatnot. So all right, we got to go back up this steep hill and get back up to the truck, so I'll see you in a few minutes. All right, everybody, we are off and rolling again, and I didn't bother to put the camera in its actual dash mount since we're only going a very short distance. I'm going to leave it in my head cam here, but we've got a little storm blowing up, a little bit of rain. Not going to worry about that too much, but I've also got a sloppy wet foot with mud in my boot, so we're going to try one more spot and then we're going to call it a day whether we find anything or not. So we're going to park right here this time, and we're going to go down to another cove that is on the other side of the bridge. And once we get back into the far corner there's a lot of woodwork and stuff that blows up, plus there's a little stream that flows in, so floodwaters from rainstorms bring wood flowing down, etc. And it's a scenic little walk. So sit tight and I'll see you on the way down to the water. All right, now back in this corner is where we're actually heading, but any place along here is possible to find some fallen woodwork. You can see a couple little bass swimming around out there. Looks like there's a lot of glare on the water, so the camera's probably not seeing into the water very well. One of these days I'm gonna have to get a polarized lens for a camera. I don't know if they make polarized lenses for YouTube or GoPros though. So my only concern about looking for woodwork back here is it's mostly going to be fallen limbs. And what I'm looking for is more of going to be a root structure, because I want it to sort of give the appearance of an old root stump at the bottom of the tank. But again, because I'm dealing with a 20-gallon tank, we're going to have a fairly small piece of wood to do that. So I don't think we're going to find one today. Probably going to have to just keep my eye out, and every time I go out on the kayak or wherever, just keep looking, and if I see it, grab it while I'm out. But we'll come down here anyway. Let's walk down to the part where the stream actually flows in. Get down here without breaking my neck. So as little as this stream looks, when we get lots of rain, it comes down out of the hills, and this thing moves a lot of water. And that's probably why we're seeing so few branches and stuff out here. It actually does just get pushed out from the water flowing in. And I'm not going to walk on that. I do know better than that, at least. So again, there's some fairly interesting stuff. That was an entire tree under the ground apparently, because it didn't budge when I pulled on it. That's an interesting little piece of wood. Again, fairly light. This end's got some water soaked into it, but this end would still float for a while. Not bad. But again, not what I'm looking for. No, this is really squishy. And there's pretty much nothing out there. No, I'm not seeing anything that's catching my eye. I'll have to go out in my kayak. I am seeing deer tracks everywhere. This must be one of the places that they like to come down, walk out to the water. Oh, that's a good looking rock. I like that. Let's rinse this one off. Kind of plain, but it's got a lot of quartz in it, and it's almost translucent through areas of it. It's a really neat looking rock. I like it, but I don't know how well that would look in any of my tanks. So I don't know. I now know where it is, so if I ever decide I want it, I can always come back for it. All right, everybody. I'm going to say thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Sorry we didn't find anything, but that's how it goes sometimes when you go out on these little expeditions and adventures. If I hadn't swamped my boot and didn't have a foot full of water right now, we'd probably stay out a little longer. But again, this is pretty much what the whole process is going to look like. So if I do find any more interesting wood on the way home, or if I find a piece later this afternoon or something, I will go ahead and show you what we got and put it in the tank. But as far as looking at my process of how I go about looking for wood and my creative process and whatnot, that's pretty much it. You got to see what I do. I just poke around in odds and ends, streams, little parts of the reservoir. Again, I've literally found pieces of wood on the side of the road that were all stuck in the mud. But if you're willing to take them home, wash them up, and clean them off a little bit, you can find some really good looking pieces of wood just lying around. So thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed. Make sure you're subscribed, and I'll see you real soon in the next one.